Anime Addicts, this podcast is brought to you by our lovely Anime Addicts community, keeping this podcast ad-free. If you want to help support the show, get all of our exclusive content, free access to the Discord, show notes, and of course that warm feeling you get inside when you do a good thing, you can go to our Patreon page, or you can go to our website, AAAPodcast.com/join. That'll get you to where you can support the show. You get all of our exclusive goodies. And again, you'll be helping out your favorite podcast. And now, it's time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAAPodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome. This is the 799th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. This is Caroline. I'm driving the ship today. I hope there are no icebergs in the water, but, I think there might be a couple. I'm scared. But today, trying to keep me from dropping us off the ledge is Raggedy Doctor. Hi, Raggedy.
Nice. Which you'll have to tune into our streams every weekend at whatever time we decide to do it, usually 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Yes, I just needed time to get back from Jersey this morning and to set everything up. I promise. Going forward, we're going to be a little bit more consistent with the times. I just have a busy lifestyle, guys. You know what I mean?
It is what it is, but you know what? I get to be passenger princess today, so Captain, my captain, I'm here to help serve. And
no longer this, Raggedy Doctor, you are Raggedy Princess.
Ooh.
And Captain
like
Caroline.
Ahoy.
How are you doing, Raggedy?
I'm doing well. I am doing some house hunting, exciting, but also the worst thing on God's green earth. So yeah, we'll talk about that in the after party. So, join the Patreon, get exclusive access to that content, including our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, where I'll also be talking about the Superman 2025 movie.
Ooh. Yeah, I saw that too. So we'll be able to have a good conversation on that. Where did you leave off? Did you mention our Discord that people could join?
No, because I figured you should do that and tell them about the anime club that we do on the Discord.
Our anime club will be meeting this Wednesday on October 8th. So if you're listening to this later on, you probably have missed it. We are discussing Ajin. And this should be a good discussion. I'm surprised we have not discussed Ajin yet. But we'll be doing that this Wednesday, 9 p.m. ET. But worry not. We have another Halloween-ish themed meeting coming up after this. I believe on 14 days after October 8th. That is October 22nd. Yeah.
Yep, 22nd.
October 22nd, 9 p.m. ET. We will be having a watch party of Ghost Stories English dub.
Ooh.
If we were watching the Japanese, original Japanese, then we would, what would we be doing with that? But the English dub is something of legends. So this should be a really fun one.
Yeah, and we may talk about that a little bit later in the episode. Ooh. Sneak peek.
With that, you're looking forward to our main show. We got an anime draft, and we'll be reviewing To Be Hero X, and I'm so excited to do that. But first, I think we ought to head into big news of the week. What do you say, Rags?
Let's do it.
It's time for big news of the week.
This is still my... It's all right. It's my favorite drop. Play it twice.
All right. There we go. Got the best part of it out of the way. All right. First up, big news of the week. This one is not that big of news, but it's something that it pertains to me personally. the trivia game show Jeopardy featured an answer about the hit anime Demon Slayer on the date of the opening of the movie on September 12th. The episode was, the title of the category was movie sequels, and the clue for $2,000 was films based on this anime series include Mugen Train and Now One with Tanjiro facing foes at the Infinity Castle. None of the contestants even guessed the correct question to the answer, as seen in this video that I have linked on our show notes, but I'm sure you can find it if you just type in Jeopardy Demon Slayer.
It doesn't exist. We've wiped it. You have to buy the show notes. The only way you're going to see it.
Right. But yeah, so I was watching it at the time. I know it's a little late. This was back on September 12th, but I only just now saw an article about it, and it reminded me of it. I totally forgot about it. But yeah, I was watching it live on the date of the premiere of Demon Slayer, so I guess they had like some sort of deal going on with Jeopardy. And so while none of these super smart Jeopardy people got it right, or even tried to, Caroline did.
Hells yeah. You'd love to see it. Do you get the $2,000? Are they going to ship it, mail it to your house?
No, it's a real shame. Real unfair.
Depressing.
But, oh well. So, what do you got, Rags? Or do you have anything else you want to say about that?
No. The only thing I want to say about that is, since you mentioned the Demon Slayer movie again, check out the Shonen Showdown review of the Demon Slayer movie that me and Em did on the feed that we have of the podcast thing.
Always be closing, Raggedy.
That's right. Always be closing. Speaking of business, I have two pieces of news, and I'm going to make a nice little news sandwich of, I think your news is good news. I think my second news is good news. My first news, not so much, so we'll do a little sandwich here. So my first bit of news is anime tariffs, ? So for those who may have heard, and this is all a little speculative, and I'll explain why. President Donald Trump said on Monday, September 29th, he would impose a 100% tariff on all films produced overseas that are then sent into the United States, which is also repeating a threat he had made back in May. Pretty much the same thing. On his social media platform, he said, "Our movie-making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby." The thing is, it's really unclear how this would work.
Yeah.
Not really sure what that means. Because there's a few ways it could be, right? It could be any movie that comes in is getting slapped with tariffs as far as like the distribution fees and stuff that they would have to pay, or something along those lines. The other thing that isn't very clear is how it affects things that are made in foreign countries and then sent here versus things that are made by Hollywood companies that are here and then outsource portions of their creative process elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So time will tell. Some of these other tariffs that have been announced for other things did not happen, or did not happen in the way that they were initially announced. So this may be nothing, or it could be a big increase in the amount we're paying for, say, the Demon Slayer movie and the Chainsaw Man movie, or possibly if TV shows get included at some point, Crunchyroll, Netflix, etc., etc. So this is kind of, keep an eye out for what this could be. So hopefully nothing is what I'm going to say.
Well, if worst comes to worst, pirating's just going to make a comeback. That's just what's going to happen.
I got news for you, Caroline. It's not going to make a comeback. It's been here for
yeah,
years.
of course, but like I think people will just not even be ashamed to say it anymore. Like they'd be like, "No, yeah, what's Crunchyroll and not using that anymore?"
Yeah, well, Crunchyroll was originally a pirate site, so
that is a very funny origin story, but
so in lighter news, this is I put this on here for Mitsugi, because I know he would love to see this. Nukitashi, the animation, you love it. You love to listen to it because, well, they aired it with only the audio because it was too risque for TV. But now you can get that audio in English dub. That's right. They have announced, Ocean Vale specifically has announced a Nukitashi dub is in the works. So Nukitashi, for those who don't remember, was a summer 2025 anime that was, like I said, too racy to be shown on air. The anime is based on an adult game of the same title, wherein public sexual acts are not just encouraged, but legally mandated. The big question I have is, well, who's your dream cast? Alex Lee, anyone?
What does
I'd
Alex
be
Lee do
down.
again? I know I know of his name, but what is he
Oh,
do?
he's Sun Jin Woo.
Right.
He's
Right.
Zenitsu. He's Gigi from Dan Da Dan. He would. I might have to go back and change my initial impression. I'm just saying. There's a way to my heart, and Alex Lee has the key.
That's great.
If I, are you gonna check this out, Caroline? I know it's top of your list, right?
Oh, you know what? I'm a little busy. Just a little bit busy. Oh, man.
But yeah, this might make for some pretty entertaining hentai episode fodder if and when that comes out. So hey, look forward to that.
I mean, I feel like with our 3 stories right here, we got dangerously close to doing a good, the bad, and the moe.
Wait, which one's the moe?
You take your pick. It's either Jeopardy or Nukutashi.
Oh, jeez. Well,
It's pick your own adventure here. All right.
moe is in the eye of the beholder.
Well, we have more news coming because we did a little tag team news break. That's coming later, so stay
Yes,
tuned
right.
for that. But for now, we got the anime draft. Raggedy, would you like to explain?
I would love to. So good evening or morning or day, obviously depending on the time you're listening to this. And welcome to the first and maybe only, we'll see, anime draft here at the AAA Podcast.
I should have
This
gotten
is for
some
all-
NFL music playing in the background.
Ooh, yeah, that would be good. But this is for all the marbles. What happens here will state the entertainment standing of these shows and movies once and for all because, just with 2B Hero X being this thing that sparked a very old and tired conversation about what is and is not anime, I thought this was an appropriate time to go ahead and claim some shows and just say, you know what? We don't care where this show was made. It's anime enough for whatever reason. It could be animation style, inspiration, the way it tells its stories. There are shows that are made outside of Japan that, well, just feel like anime. They pass the vibes check, so to speak. So we're going to go through a list and we're going to take turns drafting anime onto our teams of who we want to be anime. The thing that we're going to do to spice this up a little bit is we're going to have a rejection side with it. So we're additionally going to take something that is established as anime and say, you know what? We're not going to count that anymore. And that could be for whatever reason we want, as, principled as saying, well, this was outsourced and co-produced and blah, blah, blah. So therefore, there's not enough Japanese stuff in it to make it count, or for petty reasons, because maybe some of these shows we just don't want to be associated with the things that we like anymore.
Oh, were those the ideas behind the reject list? Because I added some shows I actually do kind of like. So
well, it's not necessarily. Well, I have some on here that I very much like, but I think I could also still make a strong argument that we could reject them. And I think the more real anime it is, for both ways, and the stronger the explanation, the spicier we can make it. So, for example, if I got rid of a show like that, I'm not going to get rid of, like Freyrin, for some reason, and came up with a reason to get rid of Freyrin that is at least compelling, I think that would make for some more interesting discussion. So, I will, as the person who had a little more idea of what we're doing, because I sort of devised this, I will let you go first and have the first overall selection in the anime draft.
all right. Well, I guess we'll start it off with our to be reviewed 2B Hero X.
Nice.
And I feel like
Why do you want it to count?
I feel
other than
like
the fact
this
that we're
is
reviewing
one of
it?
the most anime things on this list due to it feel like, okay, I believe the production was through Chinese companies. However, it is the most anime of them all, I feel like. Like maybe it's partially because they got such a big music mogul like Hiroyuki Sawano from Japan to do the music, and a star-studded cast all from Japan for the dubbing. And of course there's, I think the original Chinese dub, which I never hear anything about. But if one did not know this was from China, one would not really realize it, except, when they show some Chinese characters on screen. But
Yeah, I mean,
or like
certainly would agree
writing
that
on
was.
screen is what I meant to say.
Oh yeah, I mean that was high up on my list as well for what would be considered. It was technically a co-production with Japanese studios as well, and some of the team that worked on To Be Hero X did kind of cut their teeth on working on like actual anime products. So that makes sense. I vibe with the pick.
All right.
But what are you getting rid of?
A lot of these shows that are on this list I have not seen. And I know that we can go off list. It's just it's hard to think of things off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I will fill some dead air then and explain that we do have.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So I will explain. We do have a list that I have procured on our document that you again have access to if you buy the show notes, because we're not going to get through all these. I put way too many shows on here.
Course,
So there are some examples that I have here that we're kind of picking between, but obviously if one of us thinks of something that's not on this list, it is certainly viable.
Now, if we reject something, is the idea that it just no longer exists or no longer considered anime?
It's that it no longer is considered anime.
Okay.
That's why I didn't put on The Promised Neverland season 2, because it can't, be
doesn't
considered.
Exist in the first place.
Exactly.
I will then reject as anime 91 Days. I think this would be
days. Whoa.
I love 91 Days. I love it. But I think it's one of the shows that we can consider as it would do so well just as a regular cartoon for an American audience or an outside Japan audience due to its subject matter, its style, the voice acting in English. I think I am not going to say, get rid of 91 Days. I'm saying it's safe as a non-anime product.
Okay, I like that. I like that you're going off the script right from the jump. I am going to go ahead then and take my turn.
Did I do that right?
And you did that fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much. Also, you are getting getting a compliment in our Twitch chat. Somebody saying raggedy looking handsome.
Thank you. I'm sure you are just as attractive. So I'm going to start with taking for my list Batman, the animated series, the 90s classic, my childhood. I love this show. It's so good. The voice acting is so good. When people talk about how English dub voice acting isn't good, well, there are plenty of good dub actors. They just have to be, hired. Kevin Conroy is Batman. Part of the reason why I would consider this anime, you have the obvious stuff of the mature themes, the excellent animation, which was partially done by TMS, which is a studio in Japan, a Japanese animation studio. So that is one of the reasons I am going to be throwing it on my list. And I am picking this partially first because I do love it, but also partially because I would like to pair it with one of my rejections that I kind of specifically made for this, and that is The Big O, which I think you've watched The Big O, right, Caroline?
I don't think I have, actually. Or maybe I did, but I just forgot about it.
There was a retro review. There was a retro review that was done at some point.
I know we did it as a retro review. I don't know if I was on that episode, though.
Fair enough. So The Big O, if you don't know what it is, it's Batman. It's just Batman, but mecha. So it's the main character is just Bruce Wayne doing his Bruce Wayne thing, and instead of being Batman, he gets into a mech to fight crime. It's a perfectly good swap, especially when you consider the fact that the only reason the second season of The Big O exists at all, because even though it was made by Sunrise, is because it did so well in America, this first season did, that they made the second season intending it to flop in Japan.
In
It was
Japan?
intended for in Japan.
In Japan.
It was intended for the American audience entirely. So I think we're going to go ahead and say, Big O, you belong in the state of DC, and Batman the Animated Series can join the anime list.
Now, real question is, who do you want to voice Batman in the Japanese dub? Could it be Mamoru Miyano?
Well, I'm going to listen to it in the English dub, so I'm still going to want it to be.
Aw,
Kevin
right.
Conroy,
Yeah, you're a
has
loyalist.
unfortunately
I
passed
forgot.
away. But he also passed away too, so it would have to be recast to be fair, which is tough. I'm not sure. The Joker would still have to be Mark Hamill, and actually every language, Mark Hamill should just do the Joker in
Yeah.
English, Japanese, Portuguese, German, just all of them, because
You know what?
he doesn't laugh too well. You can't.
You know, Robert Pattinson could still be Batman in this. He does voice act,
That's
and
true.
he's pretty
He was
good.
He was good. He was good as Batman, and he's good at voice acting. I'll take it.
All right.
Christian Bale, also a voice actor.
Shit. There are so many options.
Well,
Man,
yeah,
this
what's
no,
your
actually,
second
this would be great. All right.
pick? What?
Next up, I feel like I need to get this one out of the way. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I feel like this was kind of an obvious
Yeah.
choice for me, and I believe you even told me off like camera, like, "Don't worry, I'll leave that for you." And I'm like, I don't need your sympathy. However, I will take it.
You'll take it.
I love Avatar. We talk about it enough.
Is that
for
why
it.
you took? I'm sorry. Is that why you took To Be Hero X first? Because you knew I was gonna leave you Avatar.
No, it's actually more like I feel like To Be Hero X would be a great thing to start off with, you know. But yeah, Avatar for obvious reasons, a lot of Asian influence in its storytelling and its style, fight scenes and overall themes. And it would be weird to watch it in a different language because I do love the voice acting. Like if I can't have Dante Bosco or Jack DeSena or Mae Whitman and Great Delisle and all those great people. I don't know if I would really love it as much as I do if I had to listen to it in a different language with different voice actors. So I hope they stick around for whenever this becomes like Avatar the anime. But yeah, I feel like it would still be very popular if in that perspective. English translate like the voice acting and such. I think this would become like the next great adult cartoon. Like Bob's Burgers or Family Guy or something like that. Not like in the same vein, but similar in that it's you know, for adult
Well, you could
comedy.
argue that. Yeah, well, you could argue the only reason anyone cares about Ghost Stories is the English dub.
Mm-hmm.
No one really cares about it beyond that. So no one is gonna miss it from the staples of quote unquote anime as long as it's.
I don't know.
Right, 'cause
Apparently, it does actually have a
effectively.
fairly good Japanese fan base.
Yeah, does it?
I think so.
Well, people will follow anything, I guess. I think that's a great pick. I am struggling with who to pick second because there's a lot of things on here I would love to pick. I'm saving one that I know you're not going to touch for the last pick because it will just be funny. So I'm going to take for my next pick Castlevania. Plot that right in there. Castlevania on Netflix, the video game adaptation. It is a fantastic piece of media. It is a globally available piece of media as well. So it's not something that it is particularly Japanese, American, European, whatever you want to call it. So I think it's something that could be easily fixed to anyone who wants to take ownership of it. It looks way better than almost any anime out there. It was also the original game created by a Japanese company. It was created by Konami. I think it fits right at home with most other anime of the like, and people who like anime in the way that we do probably would have Castlevania as part of their normal discussions. The question is what to give up. I am going to give up something spicy. and that is Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which is a beautiful, beautiful show. Also available on Netflix. Also, similarly was published kind of simultaneously everywhere. The I can't remember the exact. I actually have to look it up because part of it's Polish. I think the game is Polish, and the original story it's based on is a tabletop game that I think is American. I think, or I have it reversed, one way or the other. It's made off of not inherently Japanese, so it's a perfect parallel to swap with Castlevania.
Yeah, I suppose so. So in this case, would it just like fade out into non-existence, or would it still stick around in some way?
No, I think most of these are all good enough or worthy enough on their own to be considered shows to still exist, but this is no longer going to be. It's going to basically swap places on Mal with Castlevania. Castlevania goes on Mal, Cyberpunk comes off. It's a true one-to-one swap.
All right. Well, I'm not really thinking of these very much as like how the selection and rejection could relate to each other in some way. I'm not thinking that hard.
That's
about
fair.
it.
You don't have to. That's just how my brain works.
I would like to select K-pop Demon Hunters.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
nice.
It's a
like
really
that one.
fun movie if you guys haven't seen it yet. And if you are seeing some little kids running around with massive braids and pink hair and weird looking black outfits with hats, that is what for Halloween, that's where it's coming from. Yeah, I think it just needs to be on Mal. You know, it's certainly not anime. It's, you know, not even it's not even for an American audience. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's a little tricky to put my finger on, like, who was this originally meant for? Was it meant for Korean audiences or was it meant for American audiences? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just a great movie and I enjoy it. But to give up Fooly Cooly. Because
oh no, Mason.
No, because it can live
Mason's just
on Adult Swim. It was practically born on Adult Swim. It can stick around on Adult Swim.
You're right. I mean, especially it was co-productions with it. Especially the sequels were co-productions with Adult Swim. I mean, there's a reason why I added it on the draft rejection list. Poor Mason. I listen. I don't disagree. Like I said, there's a reason why I put it there.
Listen, I appreciate Fooly Cooly for what it did for anime, and it's certainly a vibe. However, I'm not the biggest fan of Fooly Cooly.
I'm gonna do a fun one. I'm going to take for my next pick, Lilo and Stitch, the Disney cartoon.
Love Lilo and Stitch.
And
the movie,
it's
right?
It's so
not the series.
Actually, the series is what I'm taking.
Oh.
I guess you could incorporate the movies with it too if you want. Take the whole franchise. But I'm more specifically talking about the television show. It is, if anyone's never seen the television show, which I have seen a lot of because my daughter really loves Lilo and Stitch, and instead of watching the movie 1,000 times over, praise the Lords, there is a TV show, so at least it's slightly different every time. It is very fun. It's very cute. The whole idea is, Stitch's experiment 626. Well, there's 625 other experiments out there, so it's about him going and finding his cousins and rehabilitating them. Yeah, that's right. I can do the Stitch voice and rehabilitating them, and finding their one true place in the world. It's very, very Hawaiian, and a lot of like Polynesian culture there's a lot of some bleed over from kind of like the East. Do I have my map right? From the Asian culture, especially if you've ever been to Hawaii, you see there's a lot of stuff from Japan, China, et cetera, et cetera. And it's very cute, and I think it matches very well as a kind of kid show to do for an anime, and I am gonna go ahead and trade that with Pokemon.
Wow.
Very simple.
You're gonna give
That's
up
right.
Pokemon.
To be fair, I did have initially intended to give up Stitch, exclamation point, which
Exclamation point.
for those who don't know, that is the Lilo and Stitch anime, because there is a Lilo and Stitch anime.
I've
that
never
is a
seen it.
Yeah, and it's a direct continuation of the Lilo and Stitch animated TV show that it basically just kept going. And they just made it. It's just made in Japan. It's an anime now. So to me, instead of giving that up to as like a funny joke, it just enhances my argument that Lilo and Stitch should just be an anime because it became one eventually anyway. The reason I'm giving up Pokemon is a global sensation. It is not inherently just a Japanese thing at this point. It is so above and beyond dominant that when we talk about like highest earning anime, we never talk about Pokemon because it's a given that we just know that that is number one, and we don't even register that so much anymore because like the anime's it's for Saturday morning cartoons. It's not for the same kind of discussion you and I would have about To Be Hero X or Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I am gonna go spicy and get rid of Pokemon.
All right. Next up for me, what am I gonna save?
You put two on here that I thought were very excellent ones. One was funny, and one I actually
All
think
right,
was a
should
good
I
one.
just go with that one then?
You want to be based?
I'll be based and
Oh,
say
hells yeah.
Shrek, the anime. Tell me that there
I'm
aren't
here
people who
for it.
wouldn't watch it. Tell me. I can only imagine what that would look like. It would probably be really strange. Because especially how much Western comedy is involved in Shrek. I feel like that's just a natural progression for where Shrek is gonna go. You know, the memes have just elevated Shrek to beyond what it ever was thought to be when it was being produced in the first place. So yeah, Shrek the anime, obviously.
I would love to see Donkey. Someone do like the Donkey Japanese dub.
Oh my
would
God.
be- I would stop watching dubs just to experience that.
Yeah, Japanese Eddie Murphy. But what am I gonna give up instead? It's easier for me to take something that I want to become an anime and try to reject something in return. That's the harder part, is rejecting.
Yeah, it is harder.
Just as nobody could possibly understand where Shrek was going to go, I think we will do the opposite and bring down Uzumaki.
All right, I am very happy you did that. 'Cause
Because listen, I was so disappointed with Uzumaki. I was so upset. I was riding on the train of Uzumaki. I'm like, don't worry, guys. I know that they have pushed it off for years. And it's just a mini series, and they've pushed it off for years. It's gonna be great because they're pushing it off to make it better. It's a lie.
this
That's
is
not what happened.
this is a spite pick.
I mean, I'm not even that spiteful. I'm just disappointed. You know, the first episode, I was going to resist because the first episode of it is pretty good, of Uzumaki. And I appreciate the ambition here. I really do.
I don't disagree. The only thing I would add is that it is also a co-production and was heavily outsourced outside of Japan for a lot of the work that was done. So you could make the argument it shouldn't count as is anyway.
Perhaps.
I'm going to cheat because I'm a filthy cheater like that. And I'm going to do sort of a twofer. One's real and one is more just to talk about it because they kind of come hand in hand. And that is Teen Titans and Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi.
I've never heard of Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi. What the hell is that?
But you have heard of Puffy Ami Yumi because guess who does the OP for Teen Titans? That's right. Teen Titans has a Japanese OP.
Yeah, I knew that.
That's them.
Oh, that's
them.
Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi? That's the
They
name of the
had their
band?
own little spit. That's them, and they had their own little cute spin-off show that was. It kind of almost looks like Panty and Stocking, uh, stylistically, not remotely how it actually is written or acted, because it's more of a kids show. But yeah, Teen Titans is really the one I want to actually talk about. It has a Japanese OP, for God's sake. They go to Tokyo. In the movie they go to Japan, and it's I mean, about as Japanese as that gets. The animation is really well done. The character themes and character acting is also really well done. The dubbing is good because there can still be good dubs, you guys. But you can definitely. I always butcher his name. The guy who played Light Yagami in Japanese. I don't know why I
Mamoru
can't say it
Miyano.
right. Thank you. So he would be great as Slade, the villain for the first season, and then like comes back a little bit later. He would be great for that. So that I'm picking Teen Titans, and then I am going to get rid of. Ooh, do I get rid of another superhero show? Because there were a surprising number of superhero shows. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I am going to get rid of, and I'm not going to do a spite one. I really would love to do a spite one. Uh, let's go ahead and get rid of. No, that's not good enough. I want one that's going to be fun. I could get rid of Powerpuff Girls Z, which is an anime that does exist.
I
and
did
would
not know
fit
that existed.
very nicely. Oh, it does. It does exist. But instead, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of Space Dandy. Uh, I'm a little bit of a coward and didn't pick Cowboy Bebop, but it would also fit here. Space Dandy is Watanabe work that is, again, very much more of a West. A lot of Watanabe's works are more popular out here in the West than they were in Japan, including Cowboy Bebop. So Cowboy Bebop, even Carol and Tuesday, I think, was more popular here than it was in Japan. Lazarus is certainly, unfortunately, more well known here than than out there. But actually, fuck it. I'm changing my mind. I've convinced myself I'm going with Lazarus instead. I didn't want to do it because I've already shit on Lazarus enough. But you know what? Fuck Lazarus. I hate this show. Same, all the same logic, as well as the fact that it aired initially to American audiences first by about a month. The dub came out first. So very much geared towards American audience. From that perspective, they were trying to ride the Watanabe high because they know Americans really like Cowboy Bebop. This is and it also sucks ass, which is what most people think of when they think of American cartoons, even though that's not true, but it's what a lot of people think of. So fuck you, Lazarus. Get out of the anime list.
All right. I didn't think that you would get so heated over this.
Neither did I. I don't know what it is. Go back and check out the review for Lazarus, by the way, if you're curious. Listeners, I went off on a whole tangent, and every time I think about it, I just get really upset, which is weird because it's not so bad that I should get this upset, but it's like such an insulting. I'm done. Okay, I'm done.
I actually I'm sad I missed that. I wasn't on that review.
I was very. I don't get upset often. I got very upset.
All right. Next up, I am going to continue with childhood favorites here. I am going to select SpongeBob SquarePants, the anime.
Hells yeah.
Yes.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
You know what they should do? They should just make an anime movie of SpongeBob. Like, they don't have to do the whole series, but you could do an anime movie of SpongeBob SquarePants, and I think it would do pretty well. Don't you think?
I listen. I'm not disagreeing, but why would you consider? Would you? Do you have an argument for why SpongeBob, as it currently stands, could be considered as anime?
I don't know. I feel like Japanese audiences would kind of be attracted to SpongeBob because he is a little bit kawaii, you know?
He is kawaii.
And,
I
you know,
don't
it's kind of,
disagree.
they do have like a lot of absurdist humor. I don't know if I love early SpongeBob. I don't know if that would do as well as current SpongeBob. Or I feel like early SpongeBob has a certain, you know, laid back style that you just don't see anymore. Charm, yeah. So I don't know if that would. I don't know if it'll work as like a whole series, but I think as a movie, I think it could work. And I want to see what kind of Japanese humor would be inserted into this type of show.
To like overdub it, basically.
Yeah. Can you imagine
Alright.
SpongeBob speaking Japanese? I certainly can.
I'm sure. Well, there's probably a Japanese dub of SpongeBob available, so we
Yeah.
could, but we won't.
Mm-mm. All right, and what I'm gonna give up for it, I had something in mind, but I kind of forgot. What was it?
Was it one of these kids shows? Because I threw the kids shows on here.
Well, because I
I
haven't
don't think
seen
they should be.
those. I haven't seen Japanese and kid shows.
Well, that was why I put them on the reject option list because no one talks about some of these shows, which I'll keep hidden for now, just between you and me, I guess. No one talks about these shows in the context of the other shows have been talking about. Even the shows that we've gotten rid of so far, no one talks about these shows in the concepts of 91 Days, Ghost Stories, Fooly Cooly. Our Discord is not going to be filled with people talking about any of these other shows, except for when they make news for officially being the longest running, technically, anime. But that's up to you if you want to take that argument on.
Yeah. Man, I had something in mind. Oh, right. Reject. How Realist Hero rebuilt the kingdom. Just to get that fuck out of my anime list. That piece
Now we
of
have the spite
garbage. Because here's the thing, I've made comments like, oh, this show, I'll reject it as anime, but I believe it could still stick around in the zeitgeist as a cartoon in the West. This show will not make it. This show is the epitome of all that anime has done to just ruin the pool here. Like, they love their isekai, so they're gonna make it an isekai. They love a boring main character, so they're gonna make him a boring main character. They love boring main characters with freaking black hairstyles and sweater vests. So, obviously,
nice.
This is not gonna make the cut in the West. It is the lowest that anime has to offer, and it will not do well here. So, I'll do that. I'm okay with that. Gone.
Nice. There's one pick on here on the selection options that I do not want to take, and the reason I don't want to take it is because I think it counts as anime and should not even be considered in here, which is Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
Oh yeah.
To justify my previous arguments I have made where this is already anime, I'm not going to pick that, even though I would, because I do love that show.
Oh, so you have made the argument that it is actually anime.
Oh yeah, I mean it's made by fucking science. Don't I will get on a tangent. So instead, I am going to pick one that's a little more interesting. I'm gonna take the Boondocks.
I did not watch the Boondocks.
That's a shame because the Boondocks is amazing. It's a fantastic Adult Swim anime. Now, because I've selected it. It is very well animated. The fight scenes that they have are very characteristic of what you would see in a typical anime fight scene. It's very well choreographed and animated. There's a lot of very biting social commentary that comes along with it, so it is a lot more intelligent than some of the other similar Adult Swim shows. And that's why the show I'm going to give up is going to be something similar but opposite, and that is going to be Panty and Stocking. Reason being, Panty and Stocking is basically just an Adult Swim show at this point. Like, it just is an adult. Like, I mean, I don't remember the initial how it came out, but it might as well have just been an Adult Swim co-production. It feels like it fits right at home in Adult Swim with the potty humor, and they do. I'm not going to disparage the animation, but they do certainly take parts of the show and they do more of a simplistic animation style to it, which then they ramp up when needed, because it is still a good show. I'm not going to take that away from it, but the humor is very in line with what belongs in Adult Swim. The second season arguably probably only exists because, similar to the Big O, it is very popular here and the dub is very, very popular. So it is. And there's a lot of Western references in it. It's very Western heavy, Western geared, and it might as well just be a Western show at that point. How many? We have 5 each. How many more do you want to go?
Let's
'Cause I think
let's do one more each. I think then we'll be in good shape with
I like it.
with
I
our
like
ranks or
I like it.
drafts here. Okay, so my last selection is going to be Kim Possible, the anime. Kim
Hells
Possible. It would do well. You know, I feel like the action. I feel like Shigo would be very popular in Japan.
Shigo wife is full on waifu material.
Who, Shigo or Kim?
Yes.
Oh man, what a great show! I miss it. But yeah, Kim Possible, the anime, I think would work in terms of what I want.
Husbando, Ron Stoppable.
Yes.
He's a good. He's basically like Gojo. Like it's Gojo and Marin Kitagawa.
Yeah, and they love an animal mascot, and Rufus is going to do it. Rufus, you know, he can do his part here. What am I gonna give up? There's so many shows I'm not familiar with on this list. I will give up then. All right, I'm gonna say My Happy Marriage.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's the thing. My Happy Marriage is not a good show. It's really dumb.
Aw.
But I do feel kind of bad about putting it up for rejection because there are some moments of real entertainment here, if only just to make fun of it. But I think I am also doing Mitsugi a favor because now the blue dress will be out of his memory.
There you go.
Yeah, I still think it's ridiculous that he gets so traumatized over a typical blue dress. But
It's just a bit at this point. Oh man. I mean, look, she's trying to be more Western, so let's let the whole show just be considered Western.
You're right. All right. So there you have it.
Oh man. Oh god, my last pick. There's so many good ones still left on this list. Oh my god. Let's see. There's Arcane, there's Samurai Jack.
Ooh, I forgot about freaking Link Click.
There's Link Click, which is what I've been eyeballing.
I should have done that one.
Here's my problem, because I have Link Click, and I have the joke one I wanted to do it. Because you left Link Click up, I can't not pick it.
All right, you can do Link Click and then just quickly say what your joke one would be.
No, I will. Yes, I will obviously say the joke one. Come on, I can't help myself. But yeah, I'm keeping Link Click. Link Click is basically the same thing as 2B Hero X. Short of the Chinese names, you look at Link Click, and that's an anime. It passes the vibes check. 7 Ways to Sunday. Similar to 2B Hero X, it's people while it's not a co-production per se, it's the same people making 2B Hero X that made Link Click. It's the same director, I think same writer, some of the same animators. So which is why they look fairly similar at the 2D portions of 2B Hero X. So it's people who have worked on anime projects before. So yeah, I'm gonna take Link, which is actually balances nicely with the fact that you took 2B Hero X. And then I am going to I want to get rid of something spicy. Oh man. Cowboy Bebop would be the spiciest one.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, there's an obvious spice left on the list.
I've already done one Watanabe work. I'm not going to do that again. The other one that would be less spicy but more interesting is Dahlia in Bloom to get rid of.
Dahlia in Bloom?
Well, there's a whole controversy over the fact that supposedly a lot of the animation was outsourced to North Korea.
Oh, really? Oh, that's why it looks so terrible.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, the North Koreans probably don't like us if they're listening.
Oh, I think we're fine. More interesting than that, I am going to get rid of Solo Leveling.
Ooh, that seems targeted.
Well, I loved Solo Leveling.
Really?
I rated Solo Leveling. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, but it is really it's not just because it's based on a manhwa, but that doesn't help, right? It is very Korean to its bones. Everything other than the people who physically put digital pen to digital paper, since we don't do hand-drawn anime anymore, being Japanese it through and through is a Korean product in its bones. It's way more popular outside of Japan than it is in Japan. It's super popular in the West. It's like a global phenomenon. It didn't do particularly well. Not that it did bad in Japan, but it didn't do nearly as well as it did in other countries. The aesthetics of it are all Korean. The themes, the messages, very, very Korean. The Japanese are literally the bad guys at one point in the show as well. I think, yeah, I am going to claim Solo Leveling as a non-anime thing.
Nice.
But my joke one is obviously the Texas anime, the Texas slice of life King of the Hill. That is my joke answer that I was going to pick for last if we had more time. Because King of the Hill is, if you've ever watched it, is basically just a slice of life anime, but in Texas.
Oh, wait a minute. What about South Park? South Park the anime?
Ooh, South Park the anime would fit. That would be good. I mean, look, there's so many on this list.
I know, yeah. Let me just rattle off a few that I had put on this list. Some of them not seriously, because I did have a couple drinks at the time I was making some of the things on this list. So I did put in Phineas and Ferb. That was not a joke. Although now that I kind of understand more about like the topic, I don't know if Phineas and Ferb would work as an anime, but I kind of like the idea of it still. I also put down Danny Phantom and Ratatouille.
Nice. Actually, excuse you, I put down Danny Phantom.
No, I put down Danny Phantom.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I thought about it and didn't put it down. You're right.
Yeah, I am right.
To pick, yeah, you're right. I've learned to say that a lot. Some of the ones I threw on here: Arcane, obviously Legend of Korra, Blue Eye Samurai, Code Lyoko. Some of those just from being like some studios worked on anime or very anime inspired. Some of the ones I threw on the rejection list for fun are like Hero Man, which is associated. It's like a Stan Lee thing, so very associated with that. Other things that did really well in the US and not so much in Japan, like Ultimate Muscle, or even Star Wars Visions, which has one season that people count and one season that people sort of count but sort of don't count. It's very confusing. Star Wars Visions is very confusing. But yeah, I think just to bring this home, I'll give you our final lists. We will maybe post them in the Discord, and then you guys can tell us who did a better job. So Caroline's list is To Be Hero X, Avatar: The Last Airbender, K-pop Demon Hunters, Shrek, which is of course a based pick, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Kim Possible. In exchange, she gives up 91 Days, Ghost Stories, Fooly Cooly, Uzumaki, How the Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. I'll fix that. My Happy Marriage. I chose Batman the Animated Series, Castlevania, Lilo and Stitch, Teen Titans with the adjunct of Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi, The Boondocks, and Link Click. And I have given up The Big O, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Pokemon Lazarus, Pantheon Stocking, and Solo Leveling.
All right. Sounds like quite the lists.
Yes. And if you want to hear us talk about something else that maybe doesn't...
Yeah, I don't have music for this. Okay.
We'll just everyone pretend there's music playing.
Carry on. Would you like to read it?
Carry on. So in To Be Hero X, what are the names of the heroes who were the only duo to be co-holders of the title of X? Find out after the break.
Hey Anime Addicts, it's Caroline and Raggedy Doctor's also here. We will be giving you the best news of this week. Welcome to the news break. Manga Planet recently announced that it will be closing its digital doors on March 3rd.
Worldwide as of September 29th, which, let's be honest, it's probably way past that by the time you're hearing this, and is the first Japanese film in history to pass the movie Move-In Train. The only question is, will the next Demon Slayer movie surpass this? Time will tell.
Bandai Namco Entertainment announced that its My Hero Academia All Consoles features all the students from Class 1A with their final powers and techniques. The game includes team-up missions on a new map, archives battle to replay fights from the series, and a story mode that covers the series' final arc from hero and villain perspectives. It seems like this video game will include anime and manga spoilers, so if you are not up to date with MHA, perhaps put this game on the back burner until you are. The 8th and final season of the anime premiered on October 4th, so you better get started.
In other anime film news, Chainsaw Man the Movie Reze Arc stays at number 1 for the second weekend in a row at the Japanese box office. After making a number 1 debut on September 19th, Chainsaw Man the Movie Reze Arc, which is the sequel film to the Chainsaw Man TV anime series, added approximately 800 million yen, or 5.41 million USD, on 523,000 admissions in its second weekend. At its debut, it actually knocked Demon Slayer down to the number 2 slot, where it has maintained its position, and we will see if the Chainsaw Man movie continues to hold its number 1 spot. It will be opening slowly over international markets, with it being aired in the United States, United Kingdom, and several other similar areas on October 29th. I have my ticket. I hope you have yours.
Netflix's original animated film K-Pop Demon Hunters adds another achievement under its belt. It clocks in at its 15th 125.1 million times watched in its entire run. So it seems like we will have Golden stuck in our heads for the foreseeable future.
Other exciting anime announcements: Marriage Toxin has been announced for an anime adaptation for 2026. An official website has opened true love with her girlfriend. Jiro desperately turns to marriage swindler Mai Kinosaki for relationship advice. Can Kinosaki turn this trained killer into a charming husband-to-be? The adaptation will be done by Studio Bones, with Motonobu Hori of Metallic Rouge at the directing helm. The series composition will be done by Kimiko Ueno of Zenshu, character designs and chief animation director by Koei Tokoka of The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, and music by Taisei Iwasaki of Bell and Yuma Yamaguchi of Click. This was Raggedy Doctor and Caroline with your anime news break. And now, let's get back to the show.
Feeling disconnected? Struggling with boredom? Have your weekends become a never-ending loop of meh? You may be suffering from neurological onset of restless malaise with interest erosion, or normie for short. And you are not alone. When life loses its spark, traditional methods may fall short. That's why there's the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast, the revolutionary anime podcast designed to reignite your anime passion.
I'm the Raggedy Doctor, board-certified anime physician, and I'm here to tell you about the AAA Podcast. It harnesses the power of narrative and fandom engagement to combat the emotional blunting seen in normie syndrome. Its interactive format encourages listeners to reconnect with complex characters and compelling stories. Several double-blinded, randomized controlled trials have proven that the AAA Podcast has better efficacy and selectivity than other similar products. Listeners report improved mood, renewed motivation, and a growing sense of community, particularly when employing the adjunct therapy of joining the Discord. Chronic sufferers may require additional treatment with after-parties, hobby addicts, or hentai episodes, available with Patreon membership.
10 out of 10 Raggedy Doctors recommend the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Download the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast today on your favorite podcast platform, your first step toward breaking free from normie syndrome. The Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast may cause sudden bursts of laughter, deep emotional reflection, and erectile dysfunction. Not recommended for use around small children. Talk to your Raggedy Doctor to decide if the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast is right for you. Hey, what's up? Yeah, so I'm I've just been distracted this whole time because OBS kept on disconnecting, Raggedy. Disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect. I'm so frustrated because I thought that being on my hotspot on my phone would be so much better than the Wi-Fi, which it is. But the fact that throughout the news break and our cleverly made little promo for the podcast, high five to that, for that little collaboration. Throughout, it was just freaking out. So I'm so sorry to the Twitch people that are probably no longer watching because they were just sick and tired of that shit. But let's go back to our trivia. So there was a little bit of a confusion there because I didn't even realize that the trivia question in the doc had changed, and Mason had given us the one little images for the Twitch stream that had a different question on it, so I didn't even realize that till partway through. Let's give them both of those questions. Raggedy, what's the actual question that we had on here?
Well, so the question that we actually did was, in To Be Hero X, what are the names of the heroes who were the only duo to be co-holders of the title of X? Those are Mr. Matchstick and Miss Blazing Fire, who you may recognize from the OP of the show, because they don't actually appear in the show. They're talked about.
They're mentioned once or twice, in passing. Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize that they were once X together. And then they showed up in the OP. I'm like, okay, what's their deal? Where are they coming in?
Yep.
And they never do. That's the most that they are animated throughout the entire show, was that split second in the opening.
Yeah, I was looking forward to my cowboy couple.
Yeah, I really wanted to figure out who they were. But the original question that we had on the Twitch stream was, what was the name of the social media that heroes, or what was it? Let me see.
Yeah, the social media company the social media platform used To Be Hero X.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, and
they would believe is FOMO, which honestly it's a pretty good name for a social media platform.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna deny that, and I apologize about the question changing. That was my fault. I wrote both questions. Did not like the first question. Thought it was too easy, so I made it.
Yeah, you made that difficult. Freaking hard.
I can't help myself sometimes.
Yeah, Mason's just gonna quietly cry because he put in so much work to make that, and you ruined it.
He's still crying over Fooly Cooley.
All right, let's head into our mailbags. Just give me a second here.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
All right, this mailbag comes from Dr. J. He says, first off, or they, she, perhaps, I don't know. So they say, first off, from one winding down his career to one starting his, congrats on getting your certification to be a bone bro, Raggedy. Hope your career with all the cool toys that you all get is as fun as mine has been in cards/critical care. What's cards?
Cardiology.
Oh, haha. Long story, but I loved anime as a child. My favorite show was Star Blazers as a young teen, but once I got to college and then medical school, I really did not have time to watch. Fast forward 30 to 40 years later, I'm slowing down my practice and do not have time to take call, so I have much more time to catch up on my or do not have to take call. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
God bless.
So
God bless Dr. J.
So I have much more time to catch up on my passions that I have missed earlier on, namely anime. So a couple questions for you, especially since I have so many series ahead of me. How many episodes/hours of a show will you watch until you decide that a show is not for you? Second question, being an older male in the small town in the South, not many friends or colleagues share a passion for anime. So it's hard to find recommendations from people who know what I like. I have been using your best rated on my anime list, and now I found your podcast, I will use your I'm sorry, I'm having trouble speaking. I will use your review scores and start working on best to worst on it. But any other recommendations on good lists for relative neophyte anime watcher? Love your podcast and instantly subscribed. Thank you for doing such a good job. Rather a pretty mediocre job on my part, but thank you, Dr. J. Do you want to take this one first, Raggedy?
Yeah, I'll go first because first off, thank you, Dr. J. That it means a lot to hear someone who's gone through this once before me have I appreciate it. As far as your questions, though, for me, when it comes to how long you give a series, it kind of depends on how long the series itself is. Shows that have dozens or even hundreds of episodes are probably not fair to judge off of like the classic 3-episode test, while a 6-episode OVA or a one-course show that you can probably judge that off 1 or 2 episodes. So I think it does depend on how long the show is. If you gave like One Piece the 3-episode test, I can't even think of how small of a percentage of the show you've actually watched versus if you watch 3 episodes of like Road to the Top, you've watched 3 of the 4 episodes of Road to the Top. If a show's not grabbing you, don't be afraid to drop it, I think is the best piece of advice I could give when it comes to that. If it's vibing with you, stick it through. If it's not, drop it. For recommendations, the Mal Top 100 isn't a bad place to go for a true blue newbie. It'll catch you up on the zeitgeist, and yeah, some of those choices like Freyrin or FMA Brotherhood are cliche, but I mean, there's a reason that they're on the list because lots of people like them. As far as what you had to say about not having too many people around you because of your age and location, yeah, might be surprised. Demon Slayer did fucking gangbusters. That anime's popular, so you might shock yourself if you talk to some of your friends or family. They may have some recommendations for you, but if you really want recommendations because it comes best from people who kind of know you, guess what? Join the Discord, baby, and we would love to get to know you, love to get to know your tastes, and then we'll give you some good shows to watch and possibly some bad ones too, because
for fun,
you have to haze a little.
Yeah, you have, or not even like you have to know what's bad to know what's good.
Very true.
But for my answer, for the question about when do you drop an anime, for me, it's very much a case-by-case basis. First episodes for any anime can be one of two things. One, an instant turn-off. Like, there are so many anime that we've done impressions for that I can figure out if I don't want to watch any more of it within the first episode or even, like, the first minute. Like, I know that it's not going to be anything more than what I see currently. So that's one thing. It could be the second thing, though. Have at least a glimmer of potential, because sometimes that glimmer is blinding and it will give me hope for like 3, 4, sometimes 5 episodes before I make a final decision if this is going to be worth completing. Sometimes that glimmer is dim and it tells me that I just need to give it like maybe one more episode just to see what is it just a bad first episode? Is it something that I just need to invest a little more time in? Or maybe, it gets into what you really want to see by the second episode. So usually
just one more. You just need one more. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna hit it this time, baby.
But yeah, sometimes I just know within a minute I don't like the style, the writing, the story, the characters, etc. Like sometimes you just know. And for your second question, as Raggedy said, I would definitely ask the people in our Discord and share your anime list with them. People are really eager to recommend shows that they love. And if you don't mind waiting a little bit, I also organize a yearly Discord Secret Santa for anime recommendations just like this. So flash forward 1.5 months from now, we will be compiling our entry forms, so like just saying generally what we like, what we dislike, what we would want in an anime recommendation from somebody else, etc. And we will secretly recommend each other some anime. There will also be Secret Satan, where we recommend each other the worst anime we could think of. It's a lot of fun. So I would get on our Discord and prepare for that. But you have anything else you want to mention, Raggedy? Or are we heading into the review?
One slight thing, because one of the Discord members, because we get to know each other on the Discord, who was one of the impetuses behind Secret Satan, was also the impetus behind the topic today, so I'm going to give him some credit there, would be very remiss if I did not mention the fact that the point of Secret Satan is not necessarily to give them the worst anime, but more to give something
that's
that you
what it was
expect.
Originally.
Well, it's to get something you would expect to be the worst anime for that particular person, but trying to hopefully get them on.
This is the exception. kind of thing.
Yeah, I was given so like I was given Sound Euphonium, which is an objectively good show, but is something that is not my particular taste. So something like that. So not to scare you off necessarily.
No, let's scare
But for
them.
you, Dr. J, well, I say for you, we'll review time.
Yeah, To Be Hero X. You can watch this on Crunchyroll, directed by Howling Lee, who's obviously Chinese, done by Studio B Dream, and it's
With
an
these,
original. Sorry?
Yeah, and to clarify, B Dream is like the head like organizer producer. There's like sub studios, which are PB Animation, Land Studio, and Paper Plane Animation Studio that all kind of worked in collaboration to make this product.
And it's an original anime, but it's actually a spin-off of these shows called To Be Hero and To Be Heroine. I always get confused. I don't want to say heroine, but that is what it's. Yeah, never mind. Apparently, Mason did watch a little bit of To Be Hero just to get some background on this show previously. But I don't, from what he said, they're not really that connected. I think maybe it's just a similar type of world that they're connected by.
Yeah, similar type of world, same creatives behind it. Very, very, very loosely.
Yeah. General synopsis. This is a world where heroes are created by people's trust, and the hero who has received the most trust is known as X. In this world, people's trust can be calculated by data, and these values will be reflected on everyone's wrist. As long as enough trust points are obtained, ordinary people can also have superpowers and become superheroes that save the world. And just, a little bit more background, like this show has multiple main characters that kind of switch off in their own respective arcs throughout this it's 2 course long. Some characters have 1 episode, some characters have like 4 episodes. It really just depends, but it starts off with a character named Lin Ling. Lin Ling, yes. And he is our first main character, and I think people were surprised when it kind of changed main characters, because obviously you don't expect there to be several, but he's like the first main character that gets introduced. So expectations going in, I was a bit apprehensive when we were doing selections for this season, due to like the PV, which occasionally I do watch when I'm considering shows. The PV did switch between CG animation and 2D animation, which gives the impression that they don't have the budget to do it all in 2D. That's just the impression it gives. It wasn't really that great of a PV in that way. But here's the thing. It had like an all-star voice cast in Japanese, because they also have, the original Chinese dubbing, I'm sure. And Hiroyuki Sawano is doing the music, so that got my attention too. And the premise did seem pretty interesting. And some of the moments in the PV, even if they were switching between the styles, did have some promise to it. So I think it did end up on my list, but it was not very high. However, when we watched a few episodes for impressions, I was engrossed. I really liked the show. Both the animation styles seemed pretty good to me, though definitely not to others. People did not like the CG on our impressions episode. They did not like it. And it did not, but to me, it didn't look like they were using them as a cost efficiency measure, because it seemed like there was a purpose to when they changed the styles, but we just didn't really understand what was going on. I was really interested in the world and the stories that they were getting into. I was really excited to manhandle this into passing, because nobody on the impressions episode wanted to, but I managed to make it happen. And for you, Raggedy, I managed to make it happen for the both of us.
For me.
Yes, because
That's
you
right.
were the one who had it on their list, and you couldn't make the episode, right?
That's right, yeah. I had this show on my list, and my son, rude little bastard, decided that now's the time to be born or whatever. So I could not make it. But yes, it was on my impressions list. The show was kind of buried in the O&A section on Mal, and it seems I've become the resident O&A dumpster diver to find these random shows, particularly this season. And I did not know much about it other than that it was kind of highly rated. The season was otherwise dull, and honestly, this is the show that made me do more of this O&A dumpster diving to try to find some of these gems. I knew that the director and studio did Link Click, so I had fairly high hopes because I do love that series. The other thing is with the PV, I am a sucker for multiple animation styles as long as they are actually done well, which it seemed like was going to be the case. So when things switch up and change, that kind of always tickles my fancy. So yeah. The other thing with this show that we've kind of touched on is I knew it was going to open a barrel of can of worms with regards to quote unquote what counts as anime, but I don't care. I wanted to see this. I wanted to watch it.
We did Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Like,
Scott Pilgrim Takes Off was made by fucking science. I am done. Nope. To Be Hero X.
it's not even on Mal. And you know what's on Mal? To Be Hero X. Mal is the decider
Fuck
here.
Mal. How about that? Fuck Mal. Anyway, spoiler-free recommendations.
Yes. I would definitely recommend this show. I think it's really fun. It's interesting. It has a large cast of characters with really cool powers and a pretty complex story that you kind of have to pay attention to. So if you are up for a story that is not told linearly, like it's interwoven throughout, this is not something that you can just passively watch. You kind of have to pay attention. But if you are up for something like that, and you're up for like characters that get changed based on the arc, that there are just a wide variety of characters to kind of root for here, this is the anime for you. However, it's not without its faults. Some of these characters and arcs are not nearly as interesting as others, and we will certainly talk about which ones were our favorites and which ones were not our favorites. There are some plot holes and motivations that are not clearly understood. I was a bit married to the Wikipedia page because they had the episode's descriptions on there. And even though I'm following along pretty well, I did read the Wikipedia page after each episode because there are some minor decisions, or not minor decisions, but like there are some things that the characters do that are not fully understood if you just watch it. But if you went like based on the description, I was able to like, oh, so that's what happened. That's who this character is. That's why they did this. So that's not that great if I have to rely on Wikipedia for that. Sometimes the CGI has a bit of a cutscene like quality, like one that you would find in a video game. But for the most part, I get used to it. It's really not that. It's not the worst that I've seen. It's just kind of funny to watch sometimes. I do think it's all worth it though. If you're put off by the CGI, I will say that it's purposeful. It's used for a storytelling reason that is very interesting, and we'll get to it in spoilers. It's possible that I'm going ham on this show because of how many haters are on this one. And I want to tell them that they're wrong.
Not because I don't think it's good or recommendable. It's just one of these things where part of it, which we'll get into spoilers, is I'm not particularly happy with how it with the ultimate payoff of the story. But I definitely did enjoy the ride. I think the show comes with a lot of hurdles that some people might breeze past and others may struggle with. So it's hard to kind of give it that sweeping recommendation. It's non-linear, which you could argue, just get good. But that is a hurdle. The switching animation styles, I really like that, but not everyone is going to, and I understand that. Some people are. Something that has not really been brought up yet, and I think we would do a disservice if we didn't bring it up, is the Chinese connection. I am genuinely shocked watching this show that it was able to be made in China, because I really feel like it subverts a lot of what most would expect, like the messaging from a Chinese production to be. You could argue that any show from any place is going to have influence either from, the government or from social norms, and some are going to, which lever is cranked up depends on which country. So in China, where there is a more government influence directly in business, you'd expect that to be more overt. But I really feel like it very much is against a lot of what you could argue the Chinese government is and does. So I'm surprised that this was actually able to be made. And I think some people who at first might look at this and be like, oh, Chinese anime slop, that's just going to be propaganda, it really is kind of the opposite, at least for now. Who knows, I guess, where it could go, because there is going to be a season 2.
I mean,
So overall,
so I just like on that topic, for me, I didn't really notice anything that like everything about this show kind of points to it being any other animation show that we would review. Like there isn't anything that any red flags that really kind of pops up or anything.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's we can get it a little bit before we do like true spoilers, because there's a hero ranking system which we've seen in My Hero Academia, right? It's not like a specifically Chinese concept. There is the social credit aspect to it, where the higher your social credit, which is a real thing in China, the higher your trust value in the show, the more powerful, the more influential you are, the more things you're able to do. But I would argue the show doesn't exactly paint that as a good thing. It kind of paints it as a bad thing. There is a lot of involvement in like how these corporations and the governmental bodies interact, which is very similar to China. And again, it doesn't seem to be promoting that. It seems to be kind of antagonistic to that idea. The corporations are not the good guys. Surprise, surprise. But you would expect in maybe something that is more propagandized to be pushing that idea forward. So I think it definitely doesn't do that. All in all, if you're willing to experiment, I would say give the show a watch. If you're into more traditional fare, then maybe skip out. I would say if you gave this show traditional like 3-episode test, you are kind of like I was alluding to earlier with the mailbag, you're missing out on what the show is really trying to do and trying to be. Caroline, you mentioned how this is split up into different arcs, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that they did really well was how they divvied up the arcs. So not to get, again, too much into spoilers, but the idea is in the first 4 episodes, you follow one character. And then the next 2 are, the next one is just one character for 3 episodes. Then you get into another character for 3 episodes, but start to see some intermingling with other characters. Then the next one's only 2 episodes, and there's more intermingling. And then there's a stretch where it's just all of these characters kind of intermingling together. So even though they have like an episode that's focused on them, it's kind of told over several times. Like, so you'll see the same scene or the same grouping of scenes told from different perspectives towards the middle. And I like how this show kind of effectively eases you into that storytelling, right? So it starts you off with much more of a traditional, there's really not too much of the animation swapping. It's very focused on one character and his story. And then slowly, as you get more into it, it does a lot more with changing animation, with changing perspectives and intermingling stories. So it does ease you into it.
Mm. And as I think you mentioned before, like that there's going to be a season 2. There is plans for a season 2. Like they are, building up for a season 2. I think that there's been a whole like promo for the production of season 2 by, I think they had like a popularity poll that people could vote for their favorite characters, and that will ultimately affect what their involvement is in season 2. I think they probably would have like a general storyline set up, but maybe exactly how they perform in season 2 will be affected.
It was they actually announced specifically it's the ranking going into because the heroes get ranked,
yeah,
right? So the ones that matter are the top 10 effectively. So the poll determines what the order is, which we'll see what story implications that has. The interesting thing about that is it was through the entire season, that poll. There were also, did you catch any of the character PVs by any chance?
No, I didn't actually. I did watch the original X PV that somebody posted on our Discord, because I didn't know that was a thing. Yep. And that kind of directly plays into.
I think.
What was that?
I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, so this was a while ago. Like,
I think.
And it's funny that it was so long ago, but it directly relates to a fight scene at the end of the show, which is kind of crazy that they already had all of this planned out, and then so much time had passed before that in season 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't seen any of the
PVs,
but just to finish the thought I had, like, so there's plans for season 2, and they are mentioning that they want to make season 2, but there hasn't been an official announcement on that yet.
Fair enough. The character PVs, so the one you watched that was posted on our Discord, there are ones that came out during the airing of the show for each of the characters before their arc started, which was really cool to see. The problem is there were some bits of character development that happen in those, that in a few of them, that probably needed to be more directly related to the show itself.
Oh,
that
so there's
did
like
help.
there's content in the PVs that
Mhm.
don't
Mhm.
get
Not a
mentioned.
ton, but not
Okay.
a ton, but like a little bit of stuff that makes some things make more sense.
Got it.
Like one of the villains in the first arc, his power didn't make a ton of sense because of how they used it. But if you watch the PV, it like they don't do anything different other than show him using his power a little differently, and it just makes more sense watching him the first time. So now going back and rewatching that fight scene, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what his powers are. I get it now.
Okay. All right. So I think that is good for a non-spoiler section. I believe we
I think so.
should head into some spoilers. Give me a second here.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
All right, got the spoiler tag up, and we are
where
ready
to
to go.
start? Where to even begin with this show?
Honestly, there's so much to talk about here, and that's really. Listen, I am so hyped to talk about this show because there's so much to talk about. I think just generally speaking, we should just start mentioning our favorite arcs. I think the first one that really caught my attention was, well, Linling. That was a pretty good arc, especially to start off with. It established so many things that are so good to know going forward into the show. And I think one of the biggest things that really caught my attention was about how the trust system not only gives them superpowers, but also psychologically affects them, sometimes in very negative ways. For example, now Lin Ling, who is, just a regular person, because he's impersonating a perfectionist hero. And people who haven't seen it yet, I'm sure they're kind of confused by that. But yeah, he's impersonating a hero who has perfectionism. And because people see him as this hero, he has now gained the powers of this hero just because they think it's him. But not only that, he's also gained his OCD. So he's just he feels the need that everything needs to be clean. So it kind of drives him a little nutso. But
that's awesome. And I also love how a lot of that too is like subtle storytelling. They say it overtly, but a lot of it is like you'll see him sit down in front of a coffee cup and he turns the mug to face a certain way. When he first enters Hero Tower, like when he's tired, he takes his cape off and just lets it like fall on the floor. And then like another episode later, you see him like gently, carefully like fold it up and put it away neatly. So they'll do that like in like small parts of it too, where it's not just how it's like, oh, I'm gonna just tell you this is what it is. They continue it like throughout, and it's good.
It's not like, oh my god, his eyes bulge out of his head when there's a speck of dust on the table. No, he's just these little things that he's doing. He's slowly becoming a different person because of the power of trust that has been placed on him, and then it gets knocked up a bunch by the other hero that gets introduced in that arc. I forget what his name is, the firefighter who, like, because he was Fernman, yes. So because his persona, like the way people see him, is that he is always standing tall. He is always going to be able to hold up whatever, weight is crushing the world. I don't know, like, that kind of thing. Because that he's supposed to be seen as like a always standing guy. He cannot sit down, and that is freaking insane.
Watching him try to use the toilet was really funny.
Yeah,
horrifying implications, but really funny.
Right.
I like that they thought through and not to jump around too much, but I think we can mention some of the trust stuff together with this. Is like, so Ghostblade can't talk because he is seen as the silent assassin.
Yeah.
What's his face? I'm blanking on his name right now. Ahu gets the ability to talk because of that trust value, because they think he can do anything. There was another character. Oh, watching Loli when she's at the gym and her hat falls off and they see her, it's like, oh, that's just like some cute girl. Like her muscles just like slowly deflate.
Yeah.
And she can't lift the weights anymore. it's sprinkled throughout, and it's really clever. Uh, I think his story is good. I think it's a little simple for me to put it as like, oh, this is one of my
Right.
favorites,
It
but it
is
was very
simple.
good.
The reason why I'm calling it good is that it's simple enough to be the start to establish things
Yep.
and to like show the world as it is. And he's just a generally good character. You know, I love Nice's character design. I'm kind of bummed that, you know, he's no longer Nice. And he's called, his superhero name is now the Commoner. I fucking hate that. It's such a lame name.
Yeah, it's lame, but it does fit with the idea of like, because he truly embodies the whole idea of like anyone can be a hero.
Literally,
Um,
okay. No, he is not. A freaking dog is a hero. He is literally the epitome of anybody can become a hero.
Well, yes, but this is. I meant for like the story.
I know.
progression, 'cause he's the first one. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. So let me see if there's one. Let's talk Ghostblade because we have him. We both have him on our list.
Yeah, Ghostblade is pretty cool. I don't. Okay. I think he's cool, and in despite of the fact that he is an assassin and a villain in certain lights here, he kills the father of an actual hero in cold blood practically. But
A former ex as well too.
yeah. So, I just think I think his story is interesting. You know, his motivations are interesting. I think that arc was pretty good. Like, kind of, I don't love the whole aliens are involved now. Like, I don't know, it's a little off the wall for me. But, yeah, I just, generally speaking, I just thought he was cool.
I mean, I love me an edgelord sometimes. There maybe part of it's because I am also a dad, and just like watching him struggle with how to connect with his daughter was fascinating to me, and it just added like a nice depth to his character beyond just being this edgelord killer. The struggle to express yourself, his animation sequences were some of the more interesting ones, even beyond the like normal CG 2D they did with his. It was more of this like stencil color palette to it when he was having like his flashbacks to his
Yeah.
family as butchers. It looked really cool. So I was a big fan of his story, of his character, and his fights are also just really cool too.
Hmm.
He was great.
Now, does he
I also,
have like actual powers, or is he just silent and
so
knows how to use knives?
every single character has some like baseline level of, basically they all have like basic enhanced strength, durability, with them being different depending on obviously what their like character impressions are. So someone like Cyan is more durable and stronger than like the average girl her age, but is not going to be like lowly.
Mm. Yeah. So, Ghostblade was generally good. I really liked Cyan. I thought her story was so interesting.
You
And
mean Hatsune no Miko?
yes. I love her character design. She's so cute, and like the music is kind of meh. Sometimes it is a little cringe, but I thought like just the like how she got her abilities, how that's kind of revealed, and how people could try to take advantage of that in certain ways. And then also her little friendship slash, possible relationship with that boy in her orphanage. I don't
Mhm.
remember his name. It's like, but he's called like the Cataclysm or something. What's his name?
Yeah, he's like a
He's like
bad
the
luck.
opposite. He's like her foil. And their
Yeah.
relationship, I'm like, oh my God, I love these two so much. And the fact that we don't get to see any more of them after this arc kills me. Like, what's he up to now? Because I actually was afraid that he was going to die at the end of this arc.
I mean, who knows? I do like Cyan. I like her luck-based power. I find that very interesting, and also this is her story is our first introduction to fear, which is a really great way to include it in the story too, because the way her powers work, it's so everything is so to chance that it's a lot easier for someone to have a fear response. So it makes sense that it's her. Do you think that X got his powers from Cyan?
I don't know. I forget. That's one issue with like having the story told so strangely is that you really have to think about how like the order of events
Yeah.
because we don't know exactly when X got his powers, but I think we could
True.
make a guess.
Implies because at the end of the series when he goes through kind of his explanation of what's happening.
Explanation.
Yeah, you go. He remembers like the flashback to him giving Lucky Cyan a coin, which you can see if you go back that's who it is. From the back you can see him. And he says everything started with that coin. I thought everything started with that coin, but the dominoes were in like line long before that. So it's kind of implied that that's how it started to become who he is.
Right. I
But
do
who
remember
knows?
that line that he said, and I was like, "What do you mean by that?" And I think Ahu even says, "What do you mean by that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Please tell him, because I don't get it." So yeah, I hope that we get a clear answer on that in season 2.
Let's save X for last because we'll talk about some of the other ones. But we'll save X for last because I think
Yeah.
he deserves to be last. Let's talk about another point of agreement, which is the E-Soul arc.
Okay, Isol. Ah, man. So like the character of Yang Chung, I didn't really mind his character at first. Like because he's the character that came after Lin Ling, and they look kind of like they both have like the black hair. They're kind of similar. They're kind of like generally nice people, except and they both kind of want to be heroes in certain ways. Isol though, like he is like an Isol impersonator, and then it's just
He's like
such
an
a
actor.
yeah, an actor. And then he kind of becomes Isol after it's all because of this ruse by Rocky, who is the owner or the head of the management company for Isol, who wants somebody a little bit more malleable because Isol is being a bit of a curmudgeon.
Actually, no.
What?
E-Soul was Rock is the head of Mighty Glory. E-Soul. Oh no, you're sorry. You're right. He is the head of Mighty Glory, which was both E-Souls. But the reason that he wants Yang Cheng to be E-Soul is different. It's not just because he wants someone more malleable. It is much more nefarious than that. It is heavily implied that the reason is because he thinks he can turn him into the next Zero. That they have the whole stuff. You think it's going to be Dragon Boy that's supposed to be the next Zero.
Yeah.
Which Zero is, for anyone who somehow is listening to this and has not watched the show. Zero is like the first hero to become and ascend to godhood effectively, which is the reason that the Hero Commission exists. And you think that it's going to, but then when you go to the end of the story and they start having all these flashbacks, you see how Rock personally selected Yang Cheng to be the actor to play E-Soul, and there's it's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing with him having zero trust value and of the god, and there is more implication that Zero is going to, and like, because it was he said, oh, Zero never left is what X says at one point, and then it goes into the whole flashback of Rocky and Yang Cheng. So I think that's more why he did it than anything else.
I don't know. I did
and
not pick
Isol
up on that. I don't know
Well,
because I don't know.
Maybe I'm looking too into it. Maybe I'm looking too far into it.
But the fact that we have to like debate against it about what his motivations are it's a pretty good interest into the show, I think.
Yeah. And I do like I actually liked old E-Soul. E-Soul is like a classic hero.
Yeah, the character powers are pretty cool.
Yeah, and he won't take his helmet off because it's the whole anyone can be a hero and I'm a symbol. He refuses to fight Yang Cheng because he's like, why would I do that? That makes no sense. Like, I'm a good guy. Why would I just fight this random kid to the death? My issue with the E-Soul arc is Yang Cheng like very quickly goes down a very weird rabbit hole.
Right.
Of like, I still do not understand why he wants to fight old E-Soul.
Exactly. So like he thinks he can become a better hero than E-Soul because of him. that's how he became that's how we started gaining trust value. And then his friend gets killed in his place, quote unquote.
Yep.
But the thing is that he's not even that good friends with him in the first place. He actually did not really like him very much, and they were after the same girl. And I know, like, I'm not saying, like, he can't mourn his death or anything. I'm just saying this should not have been the biggest catalyst for him to turn into a cold-blooded killer.
I think the reason why that was the catalyst is because he hesitated and because he didn't like him and he knows that's why he hesitated. So I think he has more of this like personal, like, oh no, I let this like my personal feelings stop me from doing the hero thing I'm supposed to do. It was, I mean, that his friend's also a double whammy for Rock because his dad, the kid who dies, his dad is the head of the Treeman Corporation,
Yeah.
the guy with the red suit. So this is all like the behind this is very complicated behind the scenes machinations of
so many heroes, so many management companies, so many motivations. So in a way it's good because it keeps things very interesting. In a way it's very confusing. But yeah, so
I know you had it here. It's a
but
plot hole about them, the combination thing, like how their trust values gets combined,
yeah,
or
so,
how sorry.
Yeah,
You can
so
explain it. It was your-
we just keep on talking at the same time. Anyway, yeah, so Yang Chung and old Isol fight to claim the title of Isol, which already I'm like, that's not cool. Like, you're just gonna try to take this guy. Like, this is his business. This is his life. You're gonna take his life, literally and figuratively, because Yang Chung ends up killing Isol. And Isol's not a bad guy. It didn't seem like he did anything wrong. So,
No, like I said, he's like he's like a true blue, like genuine hero type.
although isn't he under the impression that Isol is responsible for killing the guy?
He assumes that Isol and or his company are involved with that as a way to because he assumes that they were trying to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so
he that's why he I guess has a grudge, but it's all very
and
murky.
yet, after he kills this man, he joins that management company, right? The one that he thinks is responsible for his. That's weird.
Yes.
Yeah, so that happened. And yeah, so people, this is on live television too. Like they promoted this as like an MMA fight. Fight to the death for Isol. Yeah, so he kills Isol on live television, and by killing him, all of the trust value that was in the original Isol goes to him. But if I'm watching TV and I see these two fighting to claim this title, fighting to claim the title is one thing. To kill the original Isol and take the title, I'm not gonna have that much faith in this person anymore. Like, you just killed a man. You're heroes, and you're gonna kill each other for to take his persona. My trust value
It's definitely like
is not gonna be there. I'm sorry.
They were trying to do something more of like a visual trick or not visual trick, but something to make this. It's supposed to be a more interesting way to tell the story as opposed to just saying. And then new Isol has killed old. It's supposed to be more visually interesting, is why they did it. It also goes along with the fact of why his personality changes because old Isol is this stoic, quiet, very like stubborn character, and he starts to exhibit more of those characteristics because the whole trust value thing of how people see you affects how you act.
Yeah.
So I get why they did it, but it is very clunky.
Yeah, and so by the end of that arc, I'm like, I do not like it was slowly just worsening over the episodes.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, wait a minute, why is he doing this? And why is he now an assassin, as we have seen in other episodes where after his arc takes place? He is now an assassin, which does not really doesn't really make any sense. And also on top of that, so Rock or Rocky, I forget which one his name is. Rock, same
it's
name.
Different. It's different in Chinese, Japanese, and English.
Oh, really? Okay. So Rock, he is originally introduced as a friend of Yang Chung, and kind of helps him out throughout and actually tells him a secret and like how to defeat Isol. And then he is kind of signed up to the management company, and the owner of the company just so happens to have the same name as Rock. He is Rock, and he looks exactly the freaking same, except now he doesn't have a man bun or a ponytail or whatever, and he's wearing a suit. So I'm like, Yang Chung, does this guy not look like the same guy and sound like the same guy and has the name as the same guy who acted like he was the owner of a juice bar? Does that make sense?
My assumption is that he knows that they're the same person, which is arguably worse, honestly.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would that not feel weird? That should be weird, right?
I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
All right. I feel like we need to move away from Isol because we can't. We honestly don't have a lot of time to review this.
No. Point of contention: Dragon Boy.
Dragon Boy. It was all right. The thing is that his arc was not really about him. Like, it was more about the other characters in that arc. It was more about Smile than Dragon Boy. We got more Smile.
That's why I liked it.
More of X. More of Nice. They all had as much to do with this episode as Dragon Boy. And I would want more of Dragon Boy. And actually, I thought he was going to be like a kind of like a playboy character, you know? Kind of like a not so great guy, but fun and interesting. No, he's not. He probably has a tragic backstory that we need to discuss more, but he's not a good guy.
He was abused by his parents. The people that had him under the ice are his parents.
Okay.
So, tragic backstory. But complete, genuine a-hole. And I do enjoy that sometimes when you let characters just be unrepentant assholes. It can be fun. And I do really like Smile. My biggest complaint about Smile is that Smile is just All Might, and they had the voice actor for the dub who does All Might and didn't use him to voice Smile. He was right there.
Wait,
you had him.
Who was he playing?
He's playing Ahu, which was so weird. Of like, because you get Smile first, and I'm like, that's just All Might, and then you get Ahu. I'm like, wait, that's also All Might.
I did not even pick up on that. That is so funny. But also, I can see why they wouldn't want to make him completely All Might, you know? Smile was very interesting. I loved having him in there.
Who do you think his daughter is? Because I have a theory.
What's your theory?
I think it's Moon.
Oh! That is a good theory! Yeah!
I think it's Moon. Because I think that's how Dragon Boy has the locket, because Isol kills Moon at the end of the Lin Ling arc.
That still just hits me. I cannot believe that Moon is dead.
Yeah.
It was such a startling thing. And then we just completely move on from that moment. It's not mentioned again.
Also, before I forget, how does Lin Ling have that vision of dying? That made no sense. Because that's at the end of episode 1 or 2, I think, where he has like the vision of her dead, which is what happens to her. I'm like, how did he? Because that has nothing to do with anyway.
I don't know. That is kind of weird, isn't it? But
Fear Smile was scary as hell.
Yeah, that was good. I can't believe we have a freaking hero named DJ Shindig. Like, I could not take that guy seriously. I was kind of like the downside on that. I'm like, I can't take this guy with a disco ball on his head and call him Shindig.
Yeah. I do like how Nice, when you get to more of Nice's backstory, you see more of how like the trust value hurts him, where his perfectionism really hits him harder than it did Lin Ling, because it's not just these little details. He has full-on panic attacks over not being perfect, over completing his missions, and is why he ultimately unalives himself.
Yeah,
but
honestly,
doesn't, because he's still alive.
I loved Nice as a character. Like, he's not a good guy, but he's so interesting. And if he just wasn't up for killing children, you know, in Ahu's arc, if he was just not so, if he was like a little bit more morality, like torn up about it, then I could say like I freaking love him. But no, he is an ass. But his story is very interesting.
Yeah, and I think we have to, because we are coming up on time.
Oh, don't
I
say
think
that.
I know, but I think we should devote the rest of this to X.
No, but we have to talk about Queen. I love Queen. She's so
Oh,
great.
fuck Queen. You're right.
And
Queen's good.
yeah, and so shout out to Queen. I think her power is really interesting. I hope we get more into like how the powers work, because that overall in the second season, because that was kind of confusing sometimes.
Yeah, she has her power. For those who have watched One Piece, is she's just Law. She's Trafalgar Law. That's just who she is. She can just set rules within a certain area that everyone in that space has to abide by.
But her character design is so good. She
so
looks
cool.
awesome.
Both of them, civilian and battle, are both super
her
cool.
style. I love it. So that's Queen. She's great. I love that. One of my favorites. Tying it with CN.
Do you know her dad is? Did you
Yeah,
catch that?
he's the reporter for the.
Oh, he's not just that.
He also found CN. CN.
He's more than that.
What the? Tell me what.
He's Spotlight. He's the guy
Spotlight.
who runs Spotlight, the terrorist organization that uses fear, because they work with DOS, the guy who looks like Steve Jobs but with blonde. They work together to manipulate fear, so that way their heroes trust by beating villains that they control.
Yeah, because that was also another thing. I'm like, okay, so some of these, so Nice has a nemesis, but it seemed more like a show. Like, so I'm starting to think that nemesises are kind of like
Oh yeah, it's all manufactured.
yeah, like a manufactured thing. But I guess they're also not. And like I'm like, okay, so who are they fighting? What are these missions they are
Some
going
are,
on?
so some are real, some are not.
Right. So that aside, so love Queen. Ahu very quickly, because his arc was very quick as well. It needed more time. This is one of the prime examples that like some of these characters got 0 time, and Ahu really needed that because the story's interesting, but it was so
that's
fast.
why he's on my cons list because of that reason.
But the animation style in that arc, supreme. Because no other arc is the animation style all that different, besides the CG and the 2D animation.
Yeah, and then like there's sometimes flashbacks are a little different, but his is the most different. His is very cartoony.
Yes, it's very comic booky. It's so good. And interesting. But yeah, it definitely needed more time. Okay. X. I freaking love X. Oh my god. I thought he was going to be the villain in all this. But he could be.
He could still be.
He could evolve. But as it stands now, he's not like a standard. He's not a bad guy. He could form motivation, and he could become God, and that could change things out of his control. Yes. But man, his powers are so cool, and they really they put the top on the pot of boiling water, and they waited for that to boil, and they took off the top, and they just let it loose in those last couple episodes.
When you see, and I thought that was, I think we talked about this prior to the review, before we got to the episodes, where I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna find out that X has
reality bending powers,
which you can kind of tell from the OP that's what's gonna happen, and obviously if you watch the PV, you would have already known that, which I didn't, but when I thought that was going to be the reason why there's all of these switches in animation, especially because the more active he becomes, the more CG it gets, because the story goes in reverse order, kind of, where it starts at the most recent thing and then goes backwards in time. And as we get to older stories before X is more active, it goes more in the 2D style. And that's a great reveal when it's the smile fight, where suddenly it switches from 2D to CG when he shows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so cool.
I want to know how that's going to... Why in particular is it that the first couple arcs, all in CG for the most part, except for like some fight scenes and some backstory stuff, why... So how is he affecting that story? Is he like... At first I thought he was the one holding the strings, and he was forcing them to do things, and that is why in those arcs they are in CG, because he's affecting their story. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. He doesn't seem to be... He seems to be not all that concerned with what other people are doing, really.
it might just be as he gets more powerful, he just starts to naturally affect the world more. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Because again, it's going back. It's going kind of backwards in time. So when you see the Nice and Esol story, it's when he's at his most powerful. He's just so effortlessly cool too.
Really
Like
is.
everything about him is just. This is what he is, a Sung Jin Woo type of character where he's just aura farming all day, every day. But I like it better in this scenario where it's not who you're following the entire time. He's just like the little treat you get of just that super cool badass.
Yeah, especially because like he is the focus of the OP and he's the focus of the ED. And we haven't even talked about the OP and the ED. Both are so good. I love both of the songs. The animation is good. The ED is very simple, and yet I love to watch it.
It's so stylish.
Yeah, so stylish, and like it's all about X. It's all about how he is the one that people want to overtake, and yet he just effortlessly bodies all of them. And yet, most like 90% of the show, he's not anywhere in it, and he's barely even mentioned for parts of it. So it's
I do like how him and Smile are just like pals.
Yeah.
They're just like buddies.
I'll
It's so cute.
smile. So yeah, X is just awesome. But we just need. I'm just gonna fast forward to a few things. For example, we mentioned Esol and Dragon Boy as some of my not so favorite arcs. However, Lolly and Johnny, holy crap, I hate these guys.
Aw, you don't like the Yuri arc?
Like that's fine. Loli, whatever her name is she's so annoying. Good God. And I don't really find her.
I love her hat though.
I do not like her hat.
I like her hat.
I don't like her hat. I
Oh,
don't
I
like
love
her
the
character
hat.
design. The robot's fine, I guess, but it's not nearly as interesting as the other characters. And also, how does she become a hero? Because her whole involvement as her most heroic parts are during that UFO crash site thing. She is not being put online. Nobody's seeing her do the heroic stuff. So how did she gain the trust value and popularity? Like, she's already like plastered on the news, and people love Lolly and her robot, and she is signed up to join this hero company. How? No, nobody knows who she is, and they have no reason to know who she is.
The biggest plot holes for me for this story is related to that, because there are several characters who is unexplained why they are as powerful as they are. Because even Ahu and new Esol both go from 0 to 1, and it's a big deal. But I'm like, you shouldn't have like powers at a trust value of 1.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be enough to make a difference.
Yeah. Ahu, I think, is a little bit different. I don't know. Like, he's already a very special dog, it seems like, because he has a fan base as a circus act. He has a fan base already. And then so he has a somewhat base level of trust value already happening, causing him to have, like, sentient thought, right?
Well, yeah, sort of, because you actually actively see him go from 0 to 1. Like that they have
right.
that whole,
Yes,
like,
yes.
the
I
blip
remember that now.
turns.
Never mind about that. That is also weird.
Yeah.
But also, like, a dog that saves a whole neighborhood, that is instantaneously going to be so popular, and people love animals. So, of course, he's going to be a hero.
There should be more then.
Yeah,
by that
that's true.
logic.
And then, so yeah, Lolly is just annoying. Johnny is also extremely annoying. I do not like his voice actor. That's for one thing. 2,
My son. My son.
yeah, my son. I'm like, shut up, Johnny. And then, like his backstory aside, which is sad, I'm like, how are you a hero? Like, what is his abilities to talk to animals? He
Yeah.
does not. They do not show that at all. He does not talk to any animal. He doesn't even like have a conversation with a big Johnny. He just like it's like any other like anime dog or anime pet and human relationship. Like they just somehow understand what each other is gonna do. They do not have any sort of conversation. He does not talk to any animals, and yet he's the 5th ranked hero. And I think that's just because of a marketing thing, and he's not actually an active hero. But still.
Well, so guess where they do show him talking to animals?
Where?
The PV that is
No,
not
are
connected
you
to the show.
kidding?
There's a whole scene where there's like two people who are like being like, "Oh, little Johnny, what the hell is he doing?" Blah blah blah. And then these like three giant, like he like gives this glare, and these three giant animals come up behind him. It's like a tiger, a bear, and a lion. So it's like, oh, that's him talking to like it's him controlling animals. So they do actually show it, but not in the actual show. Wild.
So he's useless. And also, he is somehow super into a stalker, stalking his victim and saying, oh, he's just in love with her. Chill out, girl. What's her name? Yao Yun Yun? What was her
I
name?
am not even gonna
No,
try to
no.
butcher
Her name's
that name.
No No. Okay, so he's like,
Yes.
no, like just he's in love with you.
It's
He's
fine.
it's so innocent. I'm gonna help him out because he's a good guy. And like, no, you don't know him. He's stalking a teenage girl. I'm not gonna Ghostblade. He's just dense and he doesn't understand how bad it looks what he's doing. So I'll give him a pass. But Johnny is so that irritated me so much. Like, you're a hero. You have to fight bad guys, and a stalker is a bad guy. I'm sorry to break it to you, Johnny, but yeah. So I did not like him.
Counterpoint. But Big Johnny's so cute.
He is cute. That's for sure.
I did like how Queen was like, I can't look away. I can't. He's just so cute.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's going long, but there's so much to talk about. And
I know.
another thing, Nice, another plot hole. Nice has tried to kill multiple people and heroes, and there are witnesses that are alive. Like, he tried to kill the people at the crash site, and he's witnessed by Lolly and by several other people. So why has he faced no backlash from doing this? And then also there was the smile thing, and then also there's, the Treeman group thing, with Ahu and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, how is he still an active hero if he actually tried to kill people and other heroes?
More confusing, how is he still in the top 10 at the end for the final tournament arc when everyone thinks he's dead?
No,
'Cause,
I
like,
think
you can only get in.
I
if
was
you're in the
confused
top
by that.
10.
I didn't even realize, like, I had to read the Wikipedia page, and that's when I realized, like, oh, so he's in the a tournament now. And I think it's because when people realize that he is alive, that's instantly going to get a lot of attention, and that attention transferred to trust. And so therefore,
But do we know he's alive? Because Lin Ling looks real surprised when he sees him.
oh yeah, I mean, I feel like he's somehow been reincarnated, maybe through the fear, through the power of fear, maybe.
Fear.
Or maybe
Who
it's
knows?
because he had fear splashed on him that he became durable again. I don't know.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah, so it's
but
another thing to
my-
to figure out.
My biggest gripe with the show, which I hate to end our discussion on this negative, is it is very much a prequel to whatever season 2 is going to do, and it really does start to feel like that's what it's doing. There's an anime that came out, I want to say 2 years ago, Ishura, where
Oh,
it
yeah.
follows these characters like. It's very similar in its setup, where it's you get this time with each of the individual characters as they make their way towards the big fighting tournament. It's the same exact setup, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
and-
I only watched one episode of that. That was like going back to the discussion on when I decide I don't like something. I decided instantaneously I did not like that one. I don't even know why, because I do know about it, and it is very similar in some ways.
Yeah, and it started to feel like that's what it was doing, and I don't like that that's kind of where it ended up. Something like again, I'm the big shonen guy, so I watched the several hundred episodes long shonen anime, but most of them don't feel like they're in the prequel or setup stages until you are further along the story and can see retroactively that that's what was happening. Like for Naruto, the first exam arc with everything before the Chunin exam arc is all just setup, right? It's all prologue material up to the actual story, but it doesn't feel that way until you get to the Chunin arc and realize what's happening. Same thing with One Piece and getting into the Grand Line. Same thing with Bleach and getting into the Soul Society arc. All like those several dozens of episodes feel like that's what the story is, and then it changes.
You see,
This, by the time we hit Cyan's arc, or maybe by the time we hit like midway through Cyan's arc, I'm like, oh, this is all just set up for when everyone's gonna try to fight X.
no, like I totally get that. But the thing is that you're giving out those examples, but those are very different from this show in particular, because all those examples have a standard main character. Luffy's the main character of One Piece. Naruto's the main character of Naruto. And so the thing is that if they make somebody like Lin Ling the focal point character of more than half of this season, then he is the main character, and everybody else are supporting cast. But the thing is that they have to establish like multiple main characters.
Yeah, I don't think they could have fixed the problem I'm having without making the show. It's one of those things where it's like a ceiling on the show for me, where they could not have made it better and still do the thing they're trying to do. There's no out, which feels like a crappy way to talk about it. Where it's like, oh, there's nothing they could have done to fix my gripe with it, but they can't, because it's what the show that they're trying to tell, and you could argue that's a fault for me, and that's my problem, but it is my problem.
Yeah. Because like I totally agree. Like this is the prologue. This is the buildup, the establishing of the stories, the establishing of the characters, establishing of the world for this tournament, and that has always been the lead up. Like we know that's the main event of this anime show. Sorry. And at a certain point, I realized like, yeah, this tournament's not going to happen until the second season. But I don't mind that because the character, like, the stuff we are getting is interesting and it is important, and I'm so happy that we have so much foundation to now build off of, so that season 2 can really focus on what matters, like on the fight, on the powers, how they work, how they interact, how they fight against each other, and how these characters will evolve over the course of the tournament. So I'm not at all displeased with the way this season has gone.
Yeah, you're just better than me. That's all. You're just a better fan.
All right, I think it's time
I think I'm ready to score it.
Yeah, we have to score it. I'll go first. So just to give a general overview again, I think the power system's so cool. The fight scenes are many and they're great. The animation styles, if you can get used to them, so. I just love the show. And the rewatchability is really high. Like I want to rewatch the show. I want to go back to the other arcs and pick up on the details I missed and the characters that I now know better and what they were doing in those arcs. And I'm sure that there's some Easter eggs that I can definitely find if I do rewatch it, which I never want to rewatch anything, but I do kind of want to rewatch this one. But yeah, there are some problems. Like some of these arcs, not that good and need more time. They really did need more time. And it is kind of confusing. But this show is one of the better shows that people hate. I'm sorry to say it. And so with that, I am going to give this show 4.5 assassinated moons that we just completely forget about out of 5.
Whoa, that's a high score.
I know.
Nice. I like it. Nice.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh, actually no. 4.5 nice giving finger guns before he jumps off a building to his death out of 5. Nice.
Perfect. All right. So for my part, I really enjoyed this show. The animation is spectacular. There are a few spots where it falls off, but for the most part, the animation is to die for, especially in the parts where it counts. Some of the characters are very interesting. Some are a little more dull, but the interesting ones do really carry you through the story. I was not a big fan of the prologue-ness of it, not because it's a prologue, but because it felt like it. But again, it is still building up to something good. X is just so cool. He's just so flawlessly, effortlessly cool that he is just a joy to watch on screen.
He's the best OP character there is.
Yes, and the fact that there's not enough of him is a good thing. You want to have that where you're yearning for more, so I'm not going to criticize that part of it. The music's is decent. It's not. I don't think it was anything too crazy. Especially Cyan's music should have been better for what she, it. The end of the day, I think a lot of how I feel about, and I've said this multiple times, a lot of how I feel about this as a series is going to ultimately end up being revolved around how season 2 goes. I'm going to mention a few Easter eggs real quick because I seem to always do that. There are To Be Hero X posters in the Britain arc of Link Click, which is a fun thing.
That's cool.
The character PVs, a few things. You do see Isol's fight with Zero in it. You see how Rex powers work a little better. You do see little Johnny, like I said, talk to animals. You see there was another good one from the you see Dragon Boy probably killed his parents because you see him fighting a thug and you see his parents' eyes, like faces, flash over them. So there's cool stuff that's out there. I wish they put it in the show as opposed to me finding it after the fact because it's all good stuff that's like just I can't give it to the show for that. It is confusing. Overall, it is a really good time. I think my score will be better when they have a season 2, but right now I'm keep it at 3.5 out of 5.
What's that?
I hope that the snap came through on the
No,
audio.
I didn't hear a snap. But okay.
No.
Was it SFX snap?
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, that comes to a 4 out of 5 on average here. And that is our show. Honestly, we could talk forever on To Be Hero X. It is that fun to talk about. There's
really
so much
good.
stuff that we haven't even mentioned. But I will just give one more mention. Another reason why I hate Johnny, I think his character design is ridiculous. I can't believe he dresses like that in his regular day-to-day life. That aside, we've come to an end. All right. If you want to follow us, you can do so on Twitter, Facebook, Discord. Another reminder that Anime Club is this Wednesday, 9 p.m. ET. We'll be discussing Ajin. And then 2 weeks from then, we will be having a watch party of Ghost Stories, and it's going to be super fun. And you could also follow us on TikTok. Yes, if you would like to revisit us next week, the review would be Gundam G-Kux. G-Kux. How do you say that even? I don't know. And I hope that this has not been a frustrating episode to listen through because my steering of the ship can be a little cranky, especially when the stream drops a million times. So I'm sorry for that too. And everybody, have a great week.